Joining us now to talk more about it, Morgan Wright, Chief Security Advisor at SentinelOne and former Senior Advisor to the U.S. State Department Anti-Terrorism Assistance Program. I appreciate your time on this. At the hearing, the FBI Director Paul Abbate admitted that the Bureau has had some trouble accessing encrypted messages and apps used by the suspected shooter. Take a listen to that portion of the testimony.
The encrypted app. Paul, can you tell us about these apps? Have they been broken into? The guy had some apps that were encrypted.
I think we've experienced a range of returns on this. Some of the applications that he was using online were encrypted in nature. Some of the email accounts.
Have we broken into them?
We've received returns. There are some that we have not been able to get information back because of their encrypted nature.
So the Secret Service and the FBI facing some challenges here, but isn't this where the Patriot Act comes in, the sharing of information to try to get inside these apps and overcome some hurdles?
Yeah. Hey, Marni. Hey, that is to a certain point, but the issue is that probably what's being used here, if I were going to make a guess, it's Proton Mail, because that resides in Switzerland. A lot of privacy laws there. But the issue is that the messages are encrypted end to end. So even if you had, even from a Patriot Act standpoint, they still got to go through Swiss law. They have to file the paperwork there. This has been done numerous times by law enforcement around the world. The problem is, they also use a password to encrypt the messages on the device. So unless you've got that password, those messages remain encrypted on the servers, for example, like Proton Mail. And the only way to get into it is a brute force attack against the password. So Patriot Act is not going to get you something out of another country like that. You still have to follow their laws. But about the only thing you can get from that is going to be like the recovery email or some other metadata that might lead you to some other accounts, but it's not going to lead you to the content of the messages right now.
And what's the origin of what they're trying to get at? Peel back a couple more layers here for me, Morgan. Encrypted apps, I mean, what types of communication are they trying to better understand he may have been having or sharing?
So if you think about it, like if you've got your phone, I use a variety of encrypted communications, things like Signal and Telegram, WhatsApp. And if you get into the phone, which the FBI is very good at doing, then many times you also get access to those messages because the messages are on the app. They're not password protected. And basically you use your face, you use your thumbprint to get into the phone. You have access to that. But that's different than the email application. The email application, like, for example, if it's Proton Mail, it takes another password to get into that. Accessing the phone only gets you access to the application. You've got to then do another password to get into that. Now, if you can get, now, for example, if you remember some of the stories about Pegasus, the spyware that was able to get into the phones and get those messages as they were being transmitted, you could have gotten those emails like that because you would have been on the phone looking at it like the user was looking at it, like Crooks would have been looking at it. But once that connection is closed and those emails become encrypted, it's a brute force, type of attack to be able to get to that information.
I mean, this is the Secret Service. Is there not a workaround for something like this?
There's companies out there. I had some good friends work for a company called Celebrite. They were very good about getting into the San Bernardino shooter's phone. They've gotten into phones that the government couldn't get into. But the workaround actually came back years ago, Marni, when Louis Freeh was director. They started doing this initiative called Going Dark. They realized the use of encryption and encrypted communications was going to get us to a point to where we no longer had access to that information. And I was at the RSA conference when Loretta Lynch was Attorney General, and this was the San Bernardino case. She was saying that no company should be able to have a veto over national security. So that's always been the issue, is that should there be some kind of a, quote, backdoor into these programs and communications, that if the need arose and you could demonstrate a need, that you could actually serve a warrant or serve a subpoena and get access to that information. But that has not happened. And companies like Apple and Proton Mail obviously have fought that. And to this date, there is no way to access those communications unless you've got the password or you're able to serve a subpoena and get access to the unencrypted data.
Yeah, when technology becomes our enemy trying to investigate something like the assassination of a former president. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.